Adam, welcome back. Always good to check in with you.
Yeah.
Hey, Carl, thanks for having us.
Your overall point in your writings last few weeks has been Tesla's a must-own, but you continue to warn about dealers, especially who you think are beginning to tamper with the consumer's ability to keep up with prices. How can both things be true?
Well, it's interesting when Elon Musk and Tesla went state by state to try to get the ability to go direct to consumer. At the time, a lot of folks, including a lot of dealers, thought Tesla, they're just, a fly. They'll go away over time. You'll see. They didn't count on this being a $1 trillion company and one of the most deterministic tech firms in the world. So now we have a little problem where there's two classes of car companies that can go direct, where, Tesla and some of the new startups can stack retail and have a more frictionless experience, whereas the legacy folks are kind of prevented from doing so by 70-year-old dealer franchise laws. So, Carl, I wouldn't rule out this might have to go to the Supreme Court at some point to be able to harmonize this or have some kind of way to move forward, because one of the reasons why Tesla is such a profitable car company isn't because their cars themselves are so profitable, but because they capture that downstream pricing that it gets leaked to the dealers with a traditional model.
Right. And do they give anything up in return in the way of service or convenience or just the accessibility of a dealer network?
Listen, first I want to acknowledge that dealers have the laws on their side, so they're just operating, in a legal way, in a way that's been constructed. The downside for Tesla going direct historically was they had to make those investments, the stores, the service centers, and particularly in the early days, and even now, there have been some problems. Tesla's electric cars tend to not have many things that break, but when they do, you might have to wait a while, schedule your appointment. That's where some of the flaws in the system have come out. But over time, Tesla has been able to work through that, and I think we could agree on this program. They have the capital and the capability to continue to address those issues. There's no going back in terms of a franchise.
Yeah, so I wonder, Adam, you said that this could go all the way to the Supreme Court as sort of the legacy players look at this model and all of the benefits that you just laid out. Do you think that that's something we're going to hear more about? How does that happen? When does it happen?
It's a very tricky situation. I think the traditional car companies are trying to experiment and to look at tweaks to the existing franchise contracts while still, of course, obeying the laws. And to try to find ways to have a new contract that the dealers could opt into as they roll out new digital models, connected cars, electric cars. But in our opinion at Morgan Stanley, we think that the legacy car companies like a Ford and GM, they're making that sound like it's going to be a little too easy. It'll just be like no problem. It's not going to be easy. Okay, this is going to take many years. And I think you're going to run into state by state level issues with the NADA. So some Darwinian forces might have to come into play here as the retail auto distribution model gets recasted.
That's a fascinating discussion, Adam. I also do want to ask you, though, about the Master Plan 3 and specifically about Tesla's battery business. The in-house battery is seen as a potential game changer in the EV industry at large. But, of course, there's massive challenges in scaling that 4680 cell. Do you think that Musk ultimately pulls it off? And if he does, what does that mean for Tesla? Is that being priced into your target at the moment?
Well, if you don't mind, let me flip the question back to you. Can you think of any other tech firm or any firm in the world that has the capability and the scale to re-architect and industrialize a supply chain, which is currently broken? I mean, the current battery supply chain is not secure. It relies on materials that are not sustainable in parts of the world that are contested and not secure, to say the least. If it's not Elon, who else is going to do it?